How many achievements do you need to be in the top 25,000? Well, let's find out. So the first thing is that Lala achievements, if I go open up my achievements, I have 11,675, but I actually only have 11,250 because it pulls all the achievements out for things like seasonal quests and stuff that a new player today could not go back and get, which I think is very fair. Giving somebody score and then they do everything you do, they play 20 million hours a day, and then it's like, well, you can't catch me because you weren't here in 2015. That's stupid. So Lala achievements pulls out every achievement that you cannot get. And it does that in anticipation of. So like the Garo stuff won't count, even though the Garo stuff's available right now, because one day it won't be. So I'm at 11,250. And this is Chris the mod, and he's at 15,000, and he's only 2,000 achievement points ahead of me. But the achievement points get harder. They get harder to get. There's a lot of achievement points that you get for just like, you did the story, you hit max level. Like these milestones that any long-term player is going to hit. It's just going to get handed to you. You cannot hit max level and have any real enjoyment of this game without doing the main story. Whether you like the story or not, even if you utterly hate the story, you will still do it because it is required. And so the fact that it's going to keep giving you achievements every time you finish a substantial chapter, yeah, that makes sense. And so your first 5 or 10,000 achievement points are largely just handed to you for just playing Final Fantasy. After that, however, you have to start making choices. And so a lot of those choices, so here is like Brian's character. So he's got 9,000. So he's only 2,000 points behind me, 4,000 points behind Chris, and it jumps from 15,000 to 46,000 to 87,000. So that's where the herd thins, is when you start being over 9,000. Once your power level's over 9,000, you can really start making some headway. And that's because you start actually like not just sampling the game, which is what these little inner rings mean, right? The inner rings are sampling the game. It starts with the minimum square. And this inner ring is I tried the game. I tried Final Fantasy XIV. The next ring, this second ring out here, as it starts to... I track more things because it's my character. So let's go to a character that I don't track so that it's back to being a square. So the second ring out here means bro. I think you got the hang of it. I think you got the hang of it. I think you're getting it. I do. I think you're getting it. I must log in to verify. Oh my god. Oh, nope. Why am I not logged in? There we go. Thank you. All right, we'll track both mods. So the second ring here means you've got the hang of it, but you still have a long way to go. If you are enjoying this, keep going. Keep going. And then you have people like Pride, Izzy here in chat, where the third ring is you have a problem. So as you approach the third ring, the devs are reaching out of the screen and they're slapping at you and they're saying, stop. Stop it. No more fish for you. No more. No more fish. You don't get to do more fish. You're done. You're done. No more fish. You don't get to do fish. Yeah, but like, can I do more emotes? No. No more emotes. No more emotes. Knock it off. Well, what about Nope, Bardings. Orchestrons. You better slow it down. As Pride slowly approaches everything. Now, what's crazy about Pride is I play a lot of MMOs. And when people see this, right? So like Brian's a pretty casual gamer. He's been a casual gamer for a very long time. And he's a relatively intelligent guy that likes to use the internet as an external resource. And so he's achieved a lot of things in video games, but through just sheer years. He doesn't actually play that much in a particular week. And when he does play, he does not always play optimally because he doesn't like to. So he doesn't get super into things like Savage. And so sometimes when Brian and I are chatting, you kind of get this impression that anybody that's as casual as Brian, or less, like even more casual, right, looks at people like Pride and says, oh my god, you play way too much Final Fantasy. You need to try other games. You would be more balanced if you tried other games. Now, I have been on a journey this year to start understanding how people like this play. And I've been doing it as a casual, but I am quickly becoming above average. And I pick one category and I've really driven it deep, right? Really driven it deep. And you can see it. They have these timeline graphs. Do you think maybe somewhere in here I started caring about minions? Is there like a point here that like, do you think maybe on this graph down here, right here, you think maybe there's like a moment where I'd been playing the game my way, and then maybe I discovered that you could collect more minions, and then I did? Do you think there's a moment that like I probably really got the hang of it? And so that was the moment where like my profile just spiked to 73% of the minions. As I've gotten to know this, I'm actually starting to learn something about people like Pride that I think gets mistaken. When you're a casual and you look at these kind of elite players, in whatever definition it is, they're a world first raider, or they're, you know, as high as 29th in the world is the highest I've seen Pride. When you're looking at that degree, it's easy to assume they have something I don't have. But actually what it is it's not a huge deal. What it is they have made a series of small goals and they've achieved them. And when they achieved them, they set another series of small goals and they achieved them. And what they have that if you don't have this and you want this, what they have that you don't is a history of doing that. And so if you ever want to even be just a fraction of the distance from where you are to where this is, you just get there. It says your achievements are hidden on the Lodestone. You need to go to your Lodestone profile and make your profile public. So that I can go to your Lodestone and look it up. So it's a privacy setting. So what I'm learning is that this mentality is useful everywhere. So my goal for 2022 is to complete things more often. That was my generalized goal. And as a result, this year, I did my first ever fitness competition. I've lost over 30 pounds. I did my first ever sprint triathlon. I had to go take swim lessons as an adult because I didn't know how to do that. I wasn't in danger of drowning. My parents were both lifeguards. I was a very capable swimmer. We had a pool growing up, but I couldn't go anywhere quickly. And I'm still not quick, but I do get there. I passed a guy doggy paddling, which A, tells you you can get there very minimally, and B, tells you how slow I am that they put me in the heat with the guy doggy paddling. I say that to my friends that are good at triathlons. They're like, no, it wasn't. Yeah, there's no doggy paddling up in your heat. But down here in the casuals, we got some doggy paddlers. I've started finishing things. And like, I've made real progress. And this year, I didn't just play Final Fantasy XIV. I also played World of Warcraft. And I've passed like 30,000 people in World of Warcraft. And I got into New World, and I'm rapidly catching up with Brian in New World. But not because I'm amazing. I'm just setting small goals and achieving them over and over. Now, it's possible you don't have the time in the week to do it in 4 games, but you definitely have the time to do it in 1. Because I'm only playing any one of these games the amount that the average MMO player plays their full-time game. I'm not playing any of the games I play, including my primary game, Final Fantasy XIV, more than the average MMO player plays their primary MMO. Now, I'm doing it across 4 MMOs. I understand that's not normal. I get that. But there are people in this chat that I know for a fact play multiple times more Final Fantasy than I do in a week. And not just Pride. When Framsy stops by, Framsy has all the relics on like 10 characters or something stupid. Like, so no one character is impressive for Framsy, but that's because they've got a stable of characters that have done more than I've ever done. Fido did 6 hours in Eureka last night. I only play this game anywhere between 4 and 10 hours a week of actual gameplay. Like right now I'm not doing anything. You can catch me. I promise it's achievable. I promise. And so I can see how, if you are down at Brian's stage, you played for a long time, and you see these elite players, you're like, it's unreachable. I just don't have the time. I don't have the time. I have too many other commitments. I have a busy job. I have kids. I have a house to take care of. I'm helping take care of my parents. I have hobbies. I have other games. I have a great Warhammer collection. I don't have time for an MMO. I'm telling you, you don't have to hit this, but you can do a lot more than this with a lot less time than you think. I don't have kids. I don't have kids. But Brian has 5 and 1 on the way. And so these are the sorts of excuses that I hear, and I'm just telling you that's all they are. They're just excuses. Like, they are valid reasons to adjust how you play, but they are not valid reasons to not play. Because if you want to achieve these things, I promise you can. I promise you can. And the proof of that is that when you see this, you assume that this person no-lifed this game from when it came out. That is the natural assumption. There is no way this person has ever played any other game ever. They're probably a failure, living in their basement, don't even have a job. And I see these stereotypes launched at any top-end player. Top-end raiders, top-end achievers, top-end gold makers, whatever. Their experience is because they aren't normal. That's not true. And I can tell you that because Pride, what is your character name in World of Warcraft? We'll prove it with only gaming. There is no way somebody is top 50 in the world in Final Fantasy and has ever even experienced other games. All right. Pride's such a good sport about all this. And server? I've never seen this. We're about to see it. I can guarantee it's I'm not even worried about it. I haven't seen it, and I know it's fine. 228,000 completion score. 25% of World of Warcraft completed. To put that in perspective, I'm only at 30. Somebody that I know does no-life World of Warcraft and self-admits that they wish they got to play other games is Persephone. She's a creator here on the platform. She's wonderful. 64%. Nobody's at 100. 100's insane. She's number 2563 in the world. And this website tracks a lot of characters. It doesn't track all, but it does track a lot. It pulls from the armory. So if you have not logged into the armory, especially at the beginning of an expansion, they purge the armory. So if you've not logged into the armory and then logged out in a capital city, you fall off the armory. And if you fall off the armory, that's where Data for Azeroth gets their stuff. The armory is like the lodestone. So I'm just telling you, like, Pride had time for WoW and 14, which means you have time for 14 and something else. Coaching your kids' Little League team. Going for walks with your spouse. Doing a marathon. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. If you assume Pride has never even seen grass and has no life outside of video games, it's not even a real person, they're a robot. They still found time for 2 games. And that's just the 2 games we know of. So if you just play one of them, you definitely have time for other things. You definitely have time for other things. 100% you do. I appreciate Pride letting me pick on them. The fact that you're so ridiculously far ahead of me in 14 and you're not that far behind me in WoW is just crazy. It's humbling and it's enlightening all at the same time. It reminds me of what is possible and at the same time says the amount of things that are possible, the amount of things you've done, you got a long way to go, man. And I have friends and family ask me this, like, if you play one game all the time, don't you get tired of it? Don't you get tired of games in general? If you play games for a living, do you even want to play games when you end stream? No. When I end stream, I want to get up, I want to play with my dog, I want to eat something. And then I want to play games. Like, yes, I want to play games when I'm not on stream. Of course I want to play games when I'm not on stream. That Ghostcrawler interview, Cannon, asked Ghostcrawler, do you still like to play games when you're not a dev? And he's like, yeah. And Cannon's like, wow, that surprises me. Does it? Because you're a content creator. I bet you like to play games when you're not streaming too. Of course. Of course. I love playing games when I'm not on stream. And some of the games are so fun that I'm like, well, maybe I should stream this. Maybe other people would be interested. And some games I don't want to stream because I want them for myself. It's a selfish thing. I don't want to share them with you guys. I like you guys, but I like having things that are just mine. Forza Horizon 5. I don't know where I'm at now because they've added a bunch of DLC since I played. But 6 months into Forza Horizon 5, I was in the top 2% in the world for amount done. And I was on the edge of cracking the top 1%. I streamed it one time on launch day. I did all of that in my free time. 1% globally. It's like millions of players. Hundreds of thousands, something stupid. I've driven every road. I've completed every race. I have every experience board. All of them. My graph looks like Pride's. It's just 100%, 100%, 100. I've 100%ed multiple categories. So, if you want to achieve something in Final Fantasy, you can do it. No matter what it is. You want to crack the top 10,000 in achievements, you can do it. You want to do an ultimate, you can do it. Depending on how far you are from that goal, there might be a lot of mini goals along the way. If you've never done an extreme and you want to do an ultimate, that's one of the steps you need to do. If you've never done a Savage and you want to do an ultimate, that's one of the steps you need to do. Right? If you're like, well, I can never do an ultimate because I'm not good enough. There are different difficulties within the game. I wish there were more. I do. I wish there were more. But there is a path. And you can get there. And there's whole Discord communities that love taking people through that have never done it. They adore that. And there's all sorts of groups that organize going and leveling up through Eureka, and they do it a certain number of nights per week, and then they run Baldezi and Arsenal together a bunch at the end, and they all get all their stuff. Whatever it is you want to do in game, you can absolutely get there. 100% you can. It's just going to take work. But you get there slowly. The fitness competition I did last May is probably the most proud of myself I've ever been.